Greetings everyone. Welcome back to the course Mechanics of Road Vehicles. We are discussing about CO number 4, analyze the tractive characteristics of vehicle for different types of drive. We are in unit number 4, vehicle performance. Our specific outcomes, what we are going to learn here are determine the power required to propel the vehicle. How much amount of power is actually required to propel the vehicle in desired direction. We have to calculate the amount of power and amount of torque and also the force required to propel the vehicle. Second outcome is analyze the various resistive force act on the vehicle. We know that there are lot or many number of forces that may oppose our movement. In vehicle movement also there are some sort of forces will affect the movement. Here we have to learn the number of forces and the nature of the forces that actually opposes the movement of vehicle. That is we called resistive forces on vehicle. First, we should understand the performance. How can we define? After that, how can we denote the performance of vehicle? Generally, performance can be identified as ability to do or doing something in grateful. Vehicle performance can be denoted by number of parameters. For understanding, I just mark the important parameters of vehicle which can be denote the performance. First one, acceleration or deceleration. Our first consideration to buying of any vehicle is how much amount of acceleration it can produce. That is the first parameter of vehicle performance. Second, velocity. It can reach maximum speed of 240 km per hour. That was great. So that also influences the or that is also used to identify the performance of vehicle. After that, force or power. The amount of something or force or power is required to propel the vehicle. How much amount it can generate to move the vehicle to oppose the resistive force or overcome the resistive force is produced against the movement of vehicle. So this force or power must oppose or overcome the resistive forces. These three things mainly affected by the time. So time taken also comes under the vehicle performance parameter. Here we have to focus on number of things. First one, forces and moments. We know that there are number of forces act on vehicle in different directions. According to our axis system, we have x direction, y direction and z direction. If forces act on x direction may be marked as Fx, force on y direction Fy and force on z direction Fz. Moment along x axis Mx, moment along y axis My and moment along z axis Mz. It can be mentioned as like this. Technically, in vehicle, we can call three directions. That is longitudinal direction, lateral direction and vertical direction. Generally, x is a longitudinal direction, y is lateral direction, and z is vertical direction. These things will be discussed later. Second thing, power for propulsion of vehicle. In two places we can identify the power availability. First one is engine, another one power at wheel. Engine power may be marked as PE and power at wheel may be marked as PW. Next, resistances. There are three forces mainly affect the motion of vehicle during different conditions. First thing, air resistance, second rolling resistance, third gradient resistance. If vehicles start to move, there will be these two resistance is focused. During the movement of vehicle on slope, gradient resistance will generate. Air resistance is because of the air, rolling resistance because of rolling of wheels, and gradient resistance because of movement of vehicle on slope. If velocity of vehicle increases, air resistance will increase. Weight of vehicle increases, rolling resistance will increase. Slope of the road or angle of slope of road increases, and also weight increases, gradient resistance will increase. The parameters which affects the resistance or which influences the resistance of vehicle will be discussed later. Next to that, acceleration, gradability and drawbar pull. We know that acceleration is rate of change of velocity. It depends on the time taken. Gradability is ability of vehicle to move on grades, that is to move on slope. Drawbar pull is ability of vehicle to pull the towed vehicle. If any vehicle is towed with the another vehicle, this vehicle has to pull the towed vehicle. That is what we call it as drawbar pull. It comes under forces. Next to that, tractive effort and traction. Tractive effort, we generally call it as tractive force. This may be marked as Ft. Tractive force is force available or force generated between tire and road contact surfaces. These force will move the vehicle, or this force will propel the vehicle from one place to another place. This is the reason for that. The traction is ability of vehicle to utilize the tractive force. I write it as ability of vehicle to utilize tractive force Ft without slip. That is what very important. Without slipping of vehicle. Next thing, maximum acceleration, maximum tractive effort and reactive forces we have to focus on. These three things will change based on the type of drive. In automotive chases, you may learn different types of layouts of vehicle, that is front wheel drive vehicle, rear wheel drive vehicle, four wheel drive vehicle. Engine may be at any position. We just marked as front wheel drive, rear wheel drive and four wheel drive vehicle. During these drive conditions, the amount of forces generated on vehicle may change, may vary. If the forces changes, the amount of acceleration tractive effort, performance of vehicle will change. So that during these drive conditions, we have to focus on maximum acceleration, maximum tractive effort and reactive forces that act on vehicle.